3 News Now this week.
Tonight, a tragic update on a missing persons case out of Cass County. Family of Amber Shodden say the woman's body has been found in a neighboring community. 3 News Now reporter Jessica Edson tells us what details we know at this time.
Amber Shodden of Weeping Water was last heard from around 1:30 p.m. on January 27th, after, according to her father, she had gotten into an altercation with her husband, Matthew Shodden. On Friday night, on a rural road near Unadilla, her missing black Jaguar was found, and near it, a body her family believes belongs to the missing 48-year-old.
They have found the car, and they have found a person which we believe is going to turn out to be Amber.
Investigators are still piecing together what happened. On January 28th, Amber's adult daughter told police that her brother had called the night prior, saying that Amber had not returned home. According to court documents, Amber's cell phone was last pinged before being turned off about 4 miles east of home, in the opposite direction of where the vehicle and body would be found. When police visited the couple's home to investigate on the 28th, Matthew allegedly fled with his 2 sons, ages 10 and 11, alongside him. Matthew was eventually apprehended and charged for fleeing. According to court documents, Amber was afraid of her husband. In a protection order filed in 2015, she says at one point he had loaded a shotgun and threatened to shoot her and her father, former Omaha Mayor Jim Settle. Matthew is currently out of jail, but the 2 boys are staying with their grandfather.
We will take care of making sure they stay in school, take care of their medical needs, food, love, and all those things.
What happened to Amber is still a mystery at this time. An autopsy has been ordered. In a Facebook post, Amber's daughter tells her mother, "I will live for you and you will live on with me. You were, are, and always will be so loved." Reporting in Omaha, Jessica Edson, 3 News Now.
You can read more about this ongoing investigation on our website, 3newsnow.com.
Tonight, an update on the case of Amber Shodden, the missing daughter of former Omaha Mayor Jim Settle. Now, the Otoe County Sheriff has confirmed to her family what they expected, that the body found on Friday belongs to Amber. 3 News Now reporter Jessica Edson takes a closer look.
It comes as no surprise to her family, but the Otoe County Sheriff's Department has confirmed the death of Amber Shodden, who went missing 12 days ago. Shodden's black Jaguar was found parked on the side of a rural road roughly 6 miles north of Unadilla, about 20 miles away from her home in Weeping Water. Shodden's body was found near the vehicle. A preliminary autopsy reveals that the 48-year-old woman died of cold exposure. The sheriff says that foul play is not suspected. Shodden's father, former Omaha Mayor Jim Settle, wants to thank those who shared information about his daughter and her vehicle over the past few weeks.
But apparently that did help in us finding this car.
He says the family expected it would be Amber when they learned a body had been found on Friday.
Yesterday, so we've gone through the early stages of the grieving. Now we've got to deal with the continuation of what comes next.
Also mourning the loss of Shodden are the students and co-workers she leaves behind at Metropolitan Community College. In a statement on Monday, the college said Amber and her work were instrumental in elevating MCC Gateway to College program to be ranked among the best in the nation, and her friendship and continuing contributions will be greatly missed. Reporting in Omaha, Jessica Edson, 3 News Now.
Both the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines require 2 doses for maximum protection from the virus.
And we know that with that regimen, it's very, very effective. It nearly completely eliminates severe disease, hospitalization, death.
After the first dose, individuals have to wait 21 to 28 days before receiving their second dose. There's also a 4-day grace period. But the state says there are now 6,000 individuals who never came back to receive their second doses. These individuals are the healthcare workers belonging in Group 1A of vaccinations.
This group is a group that we expect to come back for second doses. So, hopefully that gap will narrow soon.
The Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services is now actively reaching out to clinics to try to bring these individuals in to complete their vaccinations.
I don't think it's forgetting. I think there's other causes, and we are digging into that. It could even simply be a delay in the clinic schedule.
If it comes down to it, the state says they will individually call each person to try to get them in for their second dose. Officials say not coming in for a scheduled second vaccination is wasting precious vaccine.
So if they're not going to come back, we need to know they're not going to come back. We can educate, we can ask them to come back, but if they say, hey, we don't want it, we want to give that dose to someone else.
Johnson & Johnson's single-dose vaccine is promising to the health department. If approved by the FDA later this month, it would help with the issue of coordinating multiple doses.
The good things are that it's a single dose, and it's much hardier as far as environmental conditions. So it doesn't need to be at the ultra low freezer temperatures, and it has a longer shelf life.
The state says they are looking into where many of these delays are taking place to put more resources and educational material into those specific counties. Reporting in Omaha, Rudolph Sinaida, 3 News Now.
We've all heard of going home for the holidays, but what about a holiday home? Take a look at this. This pink house in Council Bluffs belongs to Mark Stratashak. But it's not always pink. In fact, it changes colors for every holiday. It's pink for Valentine's Day right now, but it was black for Halloween, different color for Thanksgiving, and then a new one for Christmas. Mark says it all started during the pandemic when his wife told him to get out of the house and do something.
Being stuck inside, and I decided, hey, I got to do something else. And so she said, well, go paint the house. And she didn't know I was going to paint it black. So we just kind of go, and people say about decorations. Well, it ain't about the decorations. It's about, giving the community something to, say, hey, keep your head up and, keep on going. There's other things to do, just being stuck at home.
Wonder what his wife thought about the black color. So what's next for the holiday home? St. Patrick's Day. Radishak says he's already planning for it. If you'd like to see it, the house is at the corner of Avenue F and 8th Street.
If you enjoy drinking your hops while surrounded by some hounds, the newest bar in Omaha may be for you.
I didn't want to leave my dog at home, and so I wanted to create a safe space for dog owners to come with their dogs and be social.
The Omaha Dog Bar, located on South 14th Street, has opened to the public. The bar has been a 4-year-long project, one that was delayed because of the pandemic.
It was really hard, especially as a small business and a very different concept. When COVID hit, our funding was put to a halt. The banks held the funding, and so it was a lot of waiting and a lot of, having conversations, figuring out if this is the time to move forward or just put a stop to it until the pandemic is over.
Owner Leah Thrasher says it was the community who kept her moving forward.
We've been going to Leah's dog pop-up events for years now, so we're super excited that the actual bar is finally open and get to experience it. And with this cold weather, it's great for him to be able to get out, run around, and I can stay warm.
Owner Leah Thrasher hopes the Omaha Dog Bar serves as a community for both 2- and 4-legged friends.
I hope it becomes its own community, and I think it already has. We have 250 annual members right now, and so it's not just me anymore. And so I want it to become its own community, and so I hope that people that come here have a great time. They're safe.
In Omaha, Alyssa Curtis, 3 News Now.
We want to warn you that this next story has video that some people may find disturbing. It's an undercover video from a local farm that sends its chickens to a plant in Fremont. It's being used in a campaign against Costco. The animal rights group that shot the video says the chickens there face extreme suffering, but say it's standard practice for the industry. We spoke with both the group's president and a representative from the plant. Chickens tossed, scarred, and bred to grow so fast they fall over. This is what the group Mercy for Animals says they captured using a hidden camera at a Nebraska farm. The group wouldn't tell us which specific farm this was taken at. They say this is about Costco, not any individual farm, and the industry as a whole.
It is representative of what is happening across industrial animal agriculture and chicken.
Leah Garces is the president for Mercy for Animals. She says this farm supplies chickens to a plant in Fremont, which in turn is sold at Costco.
We documented some horrific things that I don't think Costco customers expect when they're buying their $4.99 rotisserie chicken.
It's unfortunate when these types of things happen that they tend to focus on the part that, an average person who's away from farming practices isn't familiar with.
Jessica Coulterman is the spokesperson for Lincoln Premium Poultry, a company created by Costco. They get their chickens from about 100 of these farms in Nebraska and Iowa. She says 4 to 5% of chickens die before slaughter, which is the industry standard.
That a small percentage of the animals do pass away during their growth cycle. And so really that's what the video focused on, rather than focusing on the many other healthy chickens that were in a very nice climate controlled environment where they were cared and fed and protected from the elements and predators.
But Garces says the so-called healthy chickens live a life of suffering. Even the breed itself is cruel because it's genetically tailored to grow unnaturally fast.
What happens is the birds get stuck like that and other birds are walking over them and they have cuts on their chest. The chest gets infected and they're left there to languish.
Costco provided us a statement. It says, in part, Costco is committed to maintaining the highest standards of animal welfare, humane processes, and ethical conduct. Costco and LPP will use the results of our audits as well as other sources of information, including this video, to make further improvements to our animal welfare processes.
We have a very strong commitment to animal welfare in that the amount of space that our birds have in the barns is growing.
Coulterman and Garces do agree on one thing. Everything you see here is typical of most major chicken farms. Coulterman says the farms and the plant are inspected often, but says the standards used have not been publicized.
Last spring, we first told you about allegations involving Fremont's Dodge County Humane Society, including animal neglect.
Now, City Council has approved a contract with a new shelter, but nothing's changed with the longtime contract with DCHS. Our 3 News Now investigative team took a look at how much Fremont is now spending on animal control. Since the spring, many in Fremont have complained about the Dodge County Humane Society, saying the city needs to end its contract with the nonprofit and get a new director.
I believe that the animals need a voice. I 100% don't think she needs to be in the position she's in. She doesn't need to run that shelter.
We talked to Amanda Comstock and Jessica Mace last spring. They're just 2 of several former employees who say something needs to change.
A lot of our cats were infected with tapeworm or ringworm. Animals weren't getting vaccinated, weren't getting spayed or neutered, weren't getting microchipped.
After about 9 months of calls for change, the city council did something about it in late January. They gave a sheltering contract to a different shelter in Fremont called Forever Home, but they still have their contract with DCHS. And that translates to $103,000 a year for DCHS and another $190,000 to Forever Home.
I know it's a lot of money, but I'm partially excited to see this city go from treating animal control services somewhat as a necessary evil into putting a lot of money into this to get to a point where we can find something that works.
Deb Newell started Forever Home in 2016. She says the controversy around DCHS has directly impacted her facility.
When we had kennels open and we could have taken in animals either nationwide or across the state from other shelters, we purposely left those kennels open just in case there was a large demand for us to hold lost and found animals related to what was going on in the community last year.
Even though we've given the contract for Forever Home, and they may well be the first call, as long as we're still paying someone else for those services, if they're not performing those services, fiscal responsibility would say we should not be paying and we should terminate the agreement.
City Council member Brad Yerger says he's already moved to remove DCHS's contract twice.
And I think the public is a little distressed over the fact that that hasn't occurred and didn't occur when we voted in a new contract.
We called DCHS on Tuesday to request an interview and ask what the future of the shelter might be. They told us their legal counsel would give us a call, which we're still waiting for. But Director Tamar Reed did speak at a city council meeting in late December, saying the Animal Control Board that found possible violations of the contract was biased, and she and her staff have faced continued harassment. Here's what she told us back in May.
People ask me, why do I still do this? Because I am here for the animals. You keep telling me that I don't care about animals. You keep telling me that I don't have a heart. I'm here for them, and I'm here for my staff.
There's fear in the community, and that doesn't shed good light on the city of Fremont.
Susan Jacobus was city council president, but lost her November election. She has been a vocal critic of DCHS and says distrust towards the shelter has been around long before last spring.
And unfortunately, I was part of the council that helped kick that can down the road, and we failed to address it until it got out of hand. And to me, this situation got out of hand. And shame on us, myself included, for not having pushed harder to rectify the situation.
And on top of the nearly $300,000 the city will pay each year, the city will also pay Forever Home hourly for services like picking up stray pets. The city is also buying equipment and hiring 2 community service officers. You can see the breakdown of all the costs and more details on our website, 3newsnow.com, as well as the original stories we shared with you last year on this.
Even in the pandemic, the community is coming together to support a Papillion family, 2 former Husker athletes. We told you about them in 2019 when they lost their toddler son unexpectedly. I caught up with the Moudys to learn more about their quest for answers, their family now, and the milestone they just marked to honor their son in the future. A baby boy holding on to his big brother, who he'll never meet but always know.
He definitely just has brought back so much happiness,
I mean, every day. And it was from the day, like literally in the hospital when he was born, of just, you didn't want to put him down.
JJ, or Jace John, has a name connection with his late brother Ace.
He was a true lifesaver. Like, it's just incredible having him, where you can pour all this love into.
Go Big Red!
Mike and Megan Moudy lost their son Ace at just 19 months old. His death categorized as sudden unexplained death in childhood, or SUDC. Without a known cause, they vowed to work for more answers, which they've done through Children's Hospital, the SUDC Foundation, and now a study through Mayo Clinic.
It was definitely pretty shocking with, him being a Division I athlete. You wouldn't think there would be any cardiac issues in our family. So we're close, but, we can't for sure put a diagnosis on it yet.
Mike, a former Husker football player, learned he had high blood pressure and a genetic variant which is linked to a serious heart condition called CPVT. Jace also has the variant, as well as a heart condition that babies typically grow out of.
We feel like we're closer to having an idea of what might have been the cause, but it's also, there's been some positives that have come out of that, and just, finding out things about my own health, my family's history.
They may never know for sure if the condition played a role in Ace's death, but they're actively searching for answers, and they're taking control of their health. Mike and Jace are both on medications for heart issues.
We've done literally everything that we can to protect him and keep him safe. Like, there's nothing we don't know about him, or, at least that modern medicine could uncover.
And they never stop honoring Ace.
Go Big Red! Go.
The last night they spent with Ace was watching a Husker softball game. Megan used to play for Nebraska. They've been working to get a playground, Ace's place, put near the field. They put fundraising efforts on hold during the pandemic, but then a donor gave $20,000 to take them to their $75,000 goal.
I was getting emotional, but a place where we can go, especially being the last place, that we were able to spend with him, and bring him to the playground and just tell him all about his brother.
A place where Ace's smile once beamed, where children for years to come can laugh and play, with his memory shining strong. They aren't yet sure on the timeline for the park near Bolin Stadium in Lincoln, especially given the pandemic. The family also hopes to continue raising money. They'd like to provide defibrillators for organizations, daycares, and families who can't afford them.